Well, our next guest is a Saturday Night Live alum, a movie actor, comedian, gymnast, and someone who just makes you smile when you meet her. She's also a heck of a ukulele player. She recently stopped by the studio and brought a lot of joy and laughter. Here is the wonderful Victoria Jackson.
Two blondes walk into a building. You'd think one of them would have seen it. I'm so happy to be in Tennessee. We've actually moved here. My husband was a cop in Miami for 33 years, and he just retired. Yay, policeman! So my husband, yes, we followed our grandchildren here. We live in the Nashville area. But even though he's retired, my husband can't leave his police personality. Sometimes in bed, he puts his arm around me. He says, "Do you have any idea why I pulled you over?" Once I overslept and he drew a chalk outline around me. And yeah, for real. And, we're opposites. We do have some things in common. We both get shot at, him by guns, me by cameras. We both could die, him for real, me on stage, and it's equally painful. But those are some things we have in common, but mostly we're opposites. He said his ideal mate would be a deaf-mute Victoria's Secret model who went to Cordon Bleu. And I said, well, my ideal mate would be a Chippendales neurosurgeon who digs fat chicks. And we both have different facial expressions. I have a lot, he has one. And that's really good for a cop. I'm trying to get more edgy with my comedy. I'm trying to attack difficult issues. I don't have any tattoos or piercings yet, but I do have a cold sore I've been ignoring. And I did switch from a ukulele to an electric guitar, but I had a hot flash and electrocuted myself, so back to the ukulele. So I wrote this song when I had cancer. And, all good art comes from pain, so that was exciting. People say, did cancer affect the romance in your marriage? And I go, no, because even though I was bald and my chest looked like a surfboard, my husband's a leg man. Little edgy, that's a little edgy. Oh, this song's called It's a Broken World, Baby! See, everybody has problems, not just cancer people. We all, since the Garden of Eden, it's a broken world, baby. Tattoo of a broken ukulele, light blue, turquoise lies. He might leave me in the middle of my chemo. I would not be so surprised. Yeah, I got cancer, and so did my dog. My car won't start, and my sink has a clog. My checks are bouncing, but my trampoline's torn. I am not surprised because I've been warned. It's a broken world, baby. I know you agree. The second law of thermodynamics says the world is in a state of entropy. That's a fancy word for broken, you see. Lanny's back is causing him pain. Bob's OCD is driving Donna insane. Dilbert's dad, he needs a diagnosis. I quit kissing Daisy because she has some halitosis. Daisy's my dog. My heart is broken and I stubbed my big toe. I just got fired and my food is GMO. I accidentally stepped onto my ukulele, rushing to say hi to my new neighbor, the Israeli. Well, you try to rhyme with ukulele. It's a broken world, baby. Everybody, since even Adam gave in. But there's a new world coming. That's why my song has a grin. That's why my song has a grin. Jesus is coming soon. Morning or night or noon. I'm gonna meet him in the sky, in the twinkling of an eye. Thank you! Mwah!
You have had really an amazing career. Saturday Night Live, you've done movies, you've done all this stuff. Is there anything that you have had the most fun at? Was it the Saturday Night Live gig? Was that?
Anytime that people are laughing and I'm involved somehow, that's pretty exciting. I discovered it at Furman in South Carolina when I went to college. I was in my first play, and I'd never had that feeling because gymnastics, my dad was a coach, is so serious. Like, your knees are bent, 5/10 off, your toe wasn't pointed, like, everything's so serious. But then when I was in this play, and they cast me as an airhead. I don't know why.
I ain't going there.
And so I was like, people are laughing at me. And it was just the greatest feeling. And thank you for letting me do that, because I haven't done it for a really long time.
Obviously, the audience loved it. But, you know, they love you. They do. You want me to put that over here?
No, I might play another song in a minute.
But as much fun as you have had and as much entertaining, 2 years ago, something happened that wasn't very funny. You alluded to it when you were talking. Diagnosed with breast cancer.
It doesn't run in my family or anything.
How scared were you?
Well, I kind of thought I was due for a tragedy, because I'm 58, and I was like, you know, I haven't really had a tragedy yet. And I also really believe in the Bible. I went to a Bible college. I know all the verses by heart, most of them. Don't I, McBurney's? I do. And so the Bible brought me a lot of comfort because it has hope. You know, it's like, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. I memorized the King James because I'm 58, you know, it's a long time ago. And so, like, I believe that's really God talking to me. And I memorized all these verses, but now I got to use them. I was very happy to know that it wasn't just words, that I really did believe in him, and I think he's real.
You know, Victoria, I've heard people say that when you hit bottom, the one thing that you know is that it's solid at the bottom. And what you've just described is that very experience. And you're alive as much as you've ever been in the joy of your life. And what an incredible gift God has given us by keeping you around a while. And I'm glad he did. Thank you for being here and sharing your story. I want to tell folks, as you can imagine, if Victoria writes a book, it's funny, okay? And so you can find out more about this wonderful lady and her latest projects and musings at victoriajackson.com. And if you or someone you know has been diagnosed with breast cancer, let me recommend Victoria's book, Lavender Hair. That's a perfect name for a book, right? But it's full of humor, but it's also filled with insight and comfort as you walk with God through the challenge ahead. So if you know someone who's going through it, I highly recommend Victoria's book. Available online booksellers and, of course, at Victoria's website.